All right, guys. Good morning. How we doing? Yeah, the ISOP stock, that penny stock, that thing went crazy. What is it? I always forget the ticker because I don't really pay. It's not ISOP. I don't know what it is. What is that ticker, guys? That went to 100 yesterday. Yeah, that was crazy. I'm sure a lot of people were trading that one. So good morning, ISPO. That's what it was. What's it at now? It's 71. Yeah, crazy. So good morning, guys. It's Friday. We have a long weekend. If you're not aware, market is closed on Monday. So you might get some low volume today. I don't expect too much to be strong today. You know, sometimes you do get some low volume pushes, which maybe is what happens here. We got a little bit of a bounce this morning. I'm really not trusting it with much. We'll see what happens. It bounced. What are we up? We're like 100 points higher from the pre-market low, or I'm sorry, from the after hours low from yesterday. Not something I would go ahead and say is gonna make us move higher today much, but who knows? You know, low volume. Maybe it just sort of grinds higher. Maybe we just sort of melt. But it's Friday. We'll see what happens. I'll show you guys the charts that I'm watching. We came back down to some pretty important support yesterday. We can see the lower lows continue, and we sort of hold that flat line on the indexes. So it's going to be interesting. We definitely have some lines of support that need to hold, or this thing is definitely going to be slipping again. So we're definitely in a questionable area here after yesterday. Pretty ugly day yesterday. Just rejected some previous resistance and just sort of slid from there. You got more controversy about Russia and Ukraine. What I thought was funny was, which I think is sort of, I don't know. I don't want to get too opinionated, but the reason that CNBC said the market fell yesterday was because of Russia and Ukraine. And I think the more we fall because of something like that, I think it's a little silly. I think the comeback from a short-term event like that is going to be very strong. However, it makes it difficult to know how much of this move lower is due to either this Russia-Ukraine controversy, or is it because of what it should be is the overall standing of inflation, interest rates, bond tapering, balance sheet, you know, that stuff that I believe definitely has a reason to bring the market down, bring tech stocks down, bring growth stocks lower. That's a reason that I'd rather, understand why the market's falling, right? I don't want to see the market fall off Russia and Ukraine tensions that's being controlled by headlines. That's a little silly. That's something I think this market will come back from. But it's hard to now judge which one is causing the downside, right? It's sort of blurring your vision is, okay, was yesterday due to more downside because of overall selling in growth stocks? Or is this just panic because of more Russia and Ukraine news? It's sort of blurs the line a little bit, which you have to sort of try to decipher which you think is the real main driver. So it's annoying. It's just annoying to see that, and that's their headline because we know that's what sells. So it's just funny. So let's break it down today. Let's look at some stocks. Let's look at some charts. Let's look at the futures. Most importantly, guys, I would say take it easy today. That's my main piece of advice to you today. It should be low volume. It's usually before a holiday weekend, such as us being off Monday. It's usually very low volume. A lot of traders go away. A lot of banks are not really trying to make big plays on this day. So yeah, I think it's probably the right thing to just take it easy today and not it's something that you don't want to lose a lot of money on a day like today, because you're gonna look back in hindsight and say, what the hell was I doing? So let's go ahead and continue. Futures, as always, right? Economic earnings calendar. We had some earnings this morning. I think DraftKings was this morning. I believe it's lower off earnings. And I guess what else do you expect these days, right? So you had DraftKings this morning, John Deere this morning. Last night you had Roku, which got smacked. Dropbox, which I believe was lower as well. Shake Shack, Redfin, So yeah, we'll take a look at Roku today. But that's your earnings calendar. Nothing much for today. Basically just DraftKings, which I think a lot of people are interested in. Economic calendar. We do have some stuff to watch out for next week. We have basically really just Friday of next week, which is sort of far away. But today we have home sales, nothing too crazy at 10 a.m. Some more Fed president speaking, which we should keep an eye out for. Next week, obviously markets closed Monday. We have our normal jobless claims on Thursday. But on Friday, we have the inflation numbers. So that's going to be interesting. Consumer spending, personal income, core inflation numbers, real consumer spending, 5-year inflation expectations. So a lot of stuff here on Friday of next week. So that's going to be very, very interesting. So we got to keep an eye out for that, right? Got to keep an eye out for next Friday. Just, it's a week away, so I wouldn't, get too crazy yet. But as we start to approach that Friday, we definitely want to understand what's going on. If you stay tuned on the live streams, we'll update you every day, as long as you come here. All right. Upstart. I've been wanting to try to catch an Upstart gap fill, like an earnings fade play back to the downside. I don't know why Upstart's holding up so well. I'm not going to chase it until I see it break a certain level. So we're going to talk about a certain level today on Upstart. And I want to see this thing fade back to the downside. We've seen almost every earnings play fade back to where it started. Almost every single one. Even great names like Google. Even great names like NVIDIA, right? I want to see Upstart fill that gap to the downside. We saw Twilio do this. I'll show you Twilio today. Huge gap up and a fade back to the downside. We had Peloton, which faded after getting some news about them getting purchased, faded right back to the downside. So I'm thinking Upstart can do the same. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at, but it's just not happening right now. So that's that. Shop destruction. Shops. I never want to count out a stock, guys, but it's going to be real tough for Shop to come back from this. This is a massive, massive downside move on Shop, guys. Almost 30% in the last 2 days. From its highs, down 63% on Shopify. That's pretty nasty stuff. It broke a key $800 support, broke $700 support, and yesterday was really ugly. So congratulations to anyone that went ahead and shorted that or bought puts. Really bad, really bad. What does Upstart do? You think I'm I'm not going to be like the CNBC guy. Guys, Upstart provides loans for startups or whatever you need a loan for. They are a loan provider basically. So if you ever need a loan, you can go to Upstart. You can probably consolidate debt with Upstart. So Upstart should do better in a higher interest rate environment, which is something that maybe is causing this thing to hold up a little bit. It could be sort of, favored in a higher interest rate environment. I could totally see that. That could be why you're seeing some type of buying and holding into this name. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. We're just going to run over some tech stocks because I felt like we should look at these. NVIDIA, Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, Big Four. I'm sure some of you guys would be interested in those charts, so we'll go over those. XLP, if you watched my video yesterday, XLP is a very strong sector right now. It was the only green sector yesterday. If you don't include gold, which is not really a sector, but yeah, gold was also green yesterday, more of a commodity. XLP was the only green S&P sector yesterday, and then you had gold, which was up as well, which we will talk about as well. GLD gold looks pretty good on a breakout. I gotta be honest, guys. I'm not someone that watches gold a lot. I don't know its tendencies, so we'll look at the chart. But of course, some of you guys, if you invest in gold or know about gold, you probably know more than me about gold because I'm just not a big. I don't watch gold very often. But it does look, the GLD chart, the gold ETF looks pretty good for a breakout. PayPal and Square. PayPal is below pre-virus levels. Isn't that great? It's 20% below pre-virus levels. That I find very interesting. Is PayPal worth less than it was in March of 2020. 20% less. That's a decision you'll have to make yourself. I don't know. I can't answer that question, but I think it's very interesting. Now, on the flip side, Square is still above March 2020 levels. So PayPal has been getting an absolute beating, and it's making new lows like every single day. Is this an opportunity, or is this stock really just going to continue lower forever? I don't think it's going to continue lower forever, but it seems like it's just in the doghouse right now. It's just not. There's just no one interested in this right now. No buying. It is 20% below pre-virus levels. Very interesting. Roku, I think Roku probably heads down to 100 today, guys. It's basically there. It's 6 points off. There's support at 100. I think that's probably where it's going. That's your psychological support. Kathy Wood, I bless her soul. She bought more of it yesterday. She bought a lot more of it yesterday, and more of everything else that's just going straight down. Let me see if I can find the. I'll find the. You know what? I'll pull it up on my Gmail or on my email. 1 second, guys. Let me pull it up. I'll show you what Ark bought yesterday. All right, here it is. Is this yesterday? No, that's not yesterday. I need this to update. 1 second. Here it is. All right. So I want to show my email and all that jazz. I'll hide all that. All right. Here's what Ark bought yesterday. She bought more Shopify. 17,000 shares of Shopify. That's getting wrecked. Twilio had a terrible day yesterday. 55,000 shares. Roku, dead. 58,000 shares. Zoom has been dead. Roku has been dead. I haven't really looked at UiPath much, but I'm assuming that's dead as well. That's most of it. She bought more Tesla here in the Ark Q. Roku, Roblox, Twilio, Zoom, and Ark W. That's about it. But yeah, I mean, I just don't understand the buying of Shopify, Twilio, Roku, and Zoom right now. Those things are just getting murdered. But I mean, if it's a long-term view, I guess I understand. But that's got to be tough. That's got to be tough right now for her. She's got to be under a lot of pressure. Twilio gap fill. I think I like this play. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you guys today. There's a big gap to fill on Twilio. Back down to around 120. And we're sitting at around 170. So I think there could be more downside here. I want to show you guys that today. She's going down with the ship. Hey, that's respectable, I guess, right? All right, let's get started. I'd like to get out of here early today, guys. I also would like to end my trading early today. I don't think it's going to be a very eventful day, and I have that mindset today that I don't need to be putting on risk on this Friday. So that's probably what I'm going to continue to keep my mind like today. I'll probably manage some of the swing trades I have and wrap it up. This is a good day to, refresh, get your early weekend going, get your mental strength back. Don't focus too much today. That's just how I feel. I could be wrong. I could miss out on something huge, but that's how I'm sort of preparing myself today. All right. NASDAQ. So guys, 14,000 is major. If we break below 14,000, it's gonna be nasty. Yeah, there's a lot of there's the problem, guys, right now, in my opinion. There's a lot of stocks. I see a lot of your comments, so I figured I would respond to them. There's a lot of stocks that I think are good companies, but the market is just not accepting them. So how long do you want to sit and draw down? That's your question. How long? That's the question you need to ask. How long do you want to sit and draw down on companies that are clearly getting killed? Now, when I say sit and draw down, I don't mean a stock like Apple that looks like this. I don't mean a stock like Tesla that looks like this. I don't mean a stock that looks like Microsoft or NVIDIA. That's a decent looking pullback, right? It's still okay. It looks pretty good. People are still interested in this name, right? I don't want to sit in a drawdown on a stock that looks like this, right? This is not something I'm willing to buy yet. I mean, look at this. If I would have bought, right, if you would have said, hey, PayPal at 215 looks great, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it, right? That's not something I'm willing to sit and draw down on, because the market does not accept this stock right now. You have to understand that. Market is not accepting of these stocks. These high valuation, questionable growth stocks. PayPal, Twilio, guys. How long are you going to sit and draw down on this one? Square, dead. Roku, are you going to buy Roku right now? You would have just taken another 20% dip. And so these stocks just are not being accepted. Look at these charts. I don't think you can buy this dip. I do not think it is smart to buy the dip on these stocks. Does Apple look like this, right? No. Look, that's what Apple looks like. So there's a lot of stocks out there, guys, that may be good companies, but they are just not accepting. The market is not accepting a lot of these names. A lot of these higher valuation names. It's just not good. So I'm staying away. I'd rather stay away. I'd rather dollar cost into my stocks that I have high conviction in, which are not getting messed up. Apple, Microsoft, the really big cap names, the solid, I don't want, they're what's a good name for these names? They're established, I guess is a good name. They're very established names. Not buying the dip on this, guys. No way. These are the stocks I buy the dip on. I buy Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Tesla on a weekly basis. I buy AbbVie on a weekly basis. I buy Caterpillar on a weekly basis. I buy Google on a weekly basis. And then I have a few others that I'm not happy about that I've lowered my allocation in. But I had in my M1 account, I have Netflix, Coinbase, and Roblox, and those I'm down on. But those are my 3% allocations. So I have 10% allocations, 7% allocations, and 3% allocations. So 10% are the big tech, 3% are my more speculative names, sort of like Roblox, Netflix, and Coinbase. So those have failed me, but they have a very small amount of money in them. So yeah, this you got to understand what the market's accepting right now and what it's not. And this is clearly just not okay right now. So, yeah. Anyways, let's continue. Just a little, you can clearly see the difference, guys, on the market. The rotation is very clear if you just pay attention. All right. Upstart. Or no, we got to go futures. Futures. Yeah, a little bit of downside on the futures right now, right? Look at that. Yeah, I'm not feeling this bounce this morning, guys. I don't know if this is a bounce that I would be too strong believing in. So anyways, guys, NASDAQ, 14,000. That's the big level, right? I mean, we got to hold 14,000. Below 14,000, let me go to the weekly chart here. Below 14, the next really close support is these highs right here around 13,830. Right here around 13,830. And then after that, it's sort of tough, guys. I mean, I guess you could use these lows here, right around 13,342. You can use these lows around 12,625, and maybe these highs back here around 12,000. But there's just not a lot. This looks like the major level, right? I mean, under this level, it sort of looks like a little bit of trouble. So we're definitely going to want to see that 14K hold. Let me go ahead into the daily chart. We may be able to see this a little bit better. Yeah, so here's the daily. And you guys can see, I mean, you have some of these swing lows to watch, maybe like 13,000 and then 12,300. And then also around 13.8. So we need to see this hold. You have previous support or previous resistance that turned into support that you would want to see turn into support again. So that is what we'll have to see. If it does not, which it is definitely questionable, because if we go to the hourly chart, guys, you can see this thing has been sort of in a lower low type of trend right now. Look at this. So we're sort of chilling on these lower lows right here, and we're trying to hold this 14. So what does this do, guys? Do we get something like this? Do we start to get really tight and drop? Or, do we get really tight here and then somehow bounce out of it? That's really what I'm waiting to see. So here's the 4-hour chart, guys. Until I see this make a decision, just going to sort of wait this out. So we got 14,000 is the monster level today, guys, that I would watch. If we move down into 14K, it's going to be very interesting today and into next week. So watch 14,000, guys, on the NASDAQ. ES. The ES. If we go to the daily chart on the ES, we have these previous lows right around this 42.70, right in this area here. You guys can see this, sort of triple bottom that has formed here. You can see right here, low, low, and low. We have not quite gotten back to that level, right? And you can see the ES is it's outperforming very interestingly. So you can see the NASDAQ is basically back at this January low. Look at where the ES is at. January low, the ES is still about 3% higher than where the NASDAQ is. And if you look at the ES from the all-time highs, it's just about 9% off all-time highs, which is really not that bad, guys. 9% off all-time highs. However, the NASDAQ is down 15%. So the NASDAQ is down 6% more than the ES. And that's just showing you guys the clear rotation out of tech in this sort of questionable environment, high interest rate, potentially higher interest rates, inflationary environment. The ES is definitely outperforming right now. So interesting. That's why you see sectors like the XLP, like financials that have been doing okay, like healthcare, right? When you have diversification out of just tech names like the XLP, the XLV, the XLE, energy, the XLP is consumer staples, XLV's healthcare, and XLE's energy, and XLF financials. When you have those diversifications, that are actually somewhat holding up, that's why you have the ES doing much better. The ES is the S&P 500. So Apple's the NASDAQ. I mean, you want to watch both. It's in both, but NASDAQ primarily, I would say. It's going to be affected by tech more. So you guys can see a little higher low still sort of chilling here on the ES. It's, do I believe it holds the higher low? We'll have to see. But you definitely can see a little bit of that diversification, right? So ES sort of in this range still. I would still just watch this range. It's a pretty wide range, but that's sort of what we're trading within. 45.80 to 42.70. Just this range. That's really all we're in. Just waiting to see which direction this market wants to go out of this range. The YM, the Dow Jones. If we go to the daily chart, how far are we off highs on the Dow Jones? Let's see. Let's see how this is performing versus the others. So we are just about 7% off the highs. So Dow is 7% off the highs, ES is 9% off the highs, and the NASDAQ is 15% off the highs. So we can see that, right? Where's the strength? Where's the strength? Where's the weakness? Strength is in value, Dow names, low multiple names. Weakness, high multiple names, inflationary pressures causing tech stocks to be weak, right? Continues. We know that. So downside on Dow is just you need to hold 33.5. That's major, right? Right here, 33.5. That's huge. Here's a little head and shoulders, it seems like, on the Dow, to be quite honest. Lower high, right here. And I'm just basically waiting to see what happens if we retest this low. The other support level that you could potentially watch is right around here at 34,000. Right, that 34,000 even. That's this previous low here. Excuse me. And that might be support again right here. So 33.5 and 34,000 on the Dow, that's what I'd watch. The ES, the NASDAQ, look it up. Look up futures contracts. The NQ is the NASDAQ, the ES is the S&P 500, the YM is the Dow Jones, and the RTY is the Russell. Those are the four major indices. So, Russell, what are we doing? We're rejecting off this 2100 area again. You guys can see it right here. If the Russell breaks this little uptrend that it has been on, which it's looking like it's starting to, you are going to get a very nasty bear flag here. So watch out for this uptrend break here on the Russell. If you reject this 2100, which I really believe you will, I just don't see how small caps can get through this major resistance right now unless the market environment changes overnight and we just see, huge buying in small cap stocks, which is just totally irrational. As of right now, maybe things change overnight. I don't know. The market can do whatever it wants, but right now, large buying in small caps just doesn't seem what people are going to do, and I just don't see how the Russell can break through 2100 here. If it does not, and we start to weaken again here on this overall market, I think you're going to drop below this bear flag. So I would watch this. I would watch this right here, this Russell. Could be some bear flag action. It looks like it's starting to slip as we speak. It's actually getting a little aggressive too. Jeez. Look at that. Right, see that line? That's where that bear flag was. Look at this drop. Looks like is the whole market dropping? Yeah, we're in for it right now, it seems like. We might be in for it today, guys. It's not looking too hot. So you had your little fake bounce this morning or last night on futures, and it looks like you are coming right back down to it. So I do not. Yeah, be careful here, guys. This could be, if we break 14 today, it could get a little ugly, in my opinion. If you get down to this 14, even if you get down to the 14, that's about 160 points right now. That's about 1.15%. Does it ever look at GameStop? No, I do not look at GameStop. If you come down to 14,000, watch out. Watch out below. All right, let's continue. Upstart. I would love to catch this play. It's not working right now, but I think it will eventually. But I just need to be patient. What I'm looking at here, guys, is a gap fill on this earnings gap up right down to around 110. I want to see this thing fade back down, back on earnings. So, for example, let me think of some stocks that did this. I know Twilio did. So here is an earnings push, right? I know Twilio did. Twilio pushed up, faded right back down to new lows. I know Peloton did, but Peloton's pretty damn weak. You guys can see Peloton gapped up, pushed up, and fading right back down. I don't know if you guys know, and yeah, Google did. Goog, you guys can see, even a stock like Google, push higher, gap up, fading right back down, right? I'm sure you guys have other ones. I'll see if you guys got anything for me. Did AMD do it? AMD sort of did it, but it did continue for a few days. Gapped up, faded right back lower. So there's a lot of stocks, guys. A lot of stocks that did this. I'm sure there's more that I can find that I'm just not familiar with right now, off the top of my head. So that's what I'm looking for Upstart to do. The only concern right now is it's not giving up yet. So I'm going to wait for it to give up, and I'm going to try to play this gap fill. You guys can see it right here. Enphase did it. Let's take a look. Yep, that's a perfect one. Enphase is perfect. Look at that. Gap up on earnings, filled that gap within the next 3 or 4 days, right? Big too, 22% down. Dash. Yeah, Dash is a great example. Dash got a weak-ass bounce on earnings and just filled the entire gap. So let's see what happens. It's not happening yet. What I'm looking for on this to work out is ideally a break of around this 130 area. Right around here. Let me go to the 1 minute chart. You'll see it better. I need 1 minute on like the 3 day. All right, here we go. I need a break of around right here, guys. 131, I think. 131, 130 flat, right around this area. I think if this breaks down, I think you're getting a big drop here. Right under this into that gap. So I am looking for that. We'll see what happens, guys. It's not happening yet, but I just wanted to put it on your radar. Because if it does work out, I want you guys to catch it and be aware of it. Shopify. Um, oh man, I mean, this is bad stuff. This is really bad destruction on Shop. I mean, just ugly off earnings, really bad all day. And then yesterday, just like sort of breaking below this low here. You got the push higher. Once you broke that low, guys, it was just destruction the rest of the day. I mean, watching this chart on the 1 minute, it was like there wasn't even a buyer present. It was just continuously bleeding and bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. So I don't know. It's tough for me to it's tough for me to just go out and put my hard-earned money into a stock like this right now. I got to be honest. I think a lot of people think the same way. Now, I know Shopify is a great company. I know the only problem is they lowered guidance, which is bad. We talked about this on the last live stream, right? Lowering guidance is never a good thing. That's always going to bring the stock down. They missed on EPS and revenue, I believe. So that's never a good thing either. So it's just not very good for Shopify right now. I know they're probably, they definitely have a good market share in what they do. I'm sure they own a lot of that e-commerce market, but it's just not good here. I think you're coming down to 550 to be honest. I don't see why we would hold up anywhere besides this next swing high, right here. Right around 550. So I'm watching 550 on Shop. That could easily break down to there. Look at this nasty wedge breakdown. Look at that. Wedge, boom. So I would not be someone to buy this dip yet, to be honest. I think this is a falling knife. I think people are going to be shorting the hell out of this. I would look for 550 as a place for support. Crazy, man. That's crazy. Shopify is down 1,000 points from highs. 1,000 points. Oof. 62%. Some stocks are like, and we've talked about this before, guys, but there are stocks that have been crashed. Like, I don't know what the word for down 60% is. I don't know what the technical term is, but that's crash. There's a lot of stocks that are crashed. It's pretty nasty stuff, honestly, looking at it. All right, NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, very strange. I got to be honest, guys. You guys know I lost on my earnings YOLO. I lost $200, whatever. Move on. I made back money on it yesterday on some put scalps, so I'm happy about that. But I got to be honest, I'm very surprised by the earnings reaction. I think the overall market's bringing this down. We all saw the earnings reports that NVIDIA had. We know the numbers that they reported. They were outstanding. And I'll continue to say that I think NVIDIA is a fantastic company. I think this is just a tough environment, obviously for NVIDIA, for the whole tech sector in general. But we can clearly see the overperformance, right, on these names, right? So NVIDIA is still making higher lows. Like when you look at a stock like NVIDIA, guys, and you look at a stock like PayPal, you can see what is the difference between quality that people actually believe in and have a good business model versus potential crap and overvaluation. And look at PayPal, right? You don't know what's going. Like, this is not the same chart, and this is not like the same as a quality name. So if you guys are looking for the clear deciphering between quality right now, look at stocks that are sort of holding up, making higher lows. We could still say it's overvalued, but it's just the market. The market is accepting of some of these names, and I think that's something to really focus on in this market. What names are being accepted? And this is definitely one of them. So we'll see, guys. I mean, I think there is a possibility that we break under this 240. This 240 would be nice to hold, but I think I think it's a little bit advantageous to think that we hold it. You guys can see right around here. Sorry, this Thinkorswim sometimes fails me. Right around this 240, that would be nice. That's a little bit of a triple bottom here. It would be nice. But, if it does break down below, even if we have to come back down to this 208 area, this previous support here, that would be, just fine as well. So we'll see, guys. We'll see what NVIDIA does. It's everything about this is a stock that I am willing to buy the dip on, right? This is a stock that I'm willing to dollar cost average into, because seeing those earnings reports, knowing how strong of a future they have, right? It's pretty clear that this stock will come back in the future. For other names, you don't quite know, but this is a clear one for me. So I'm definitely going to be dollar cost averaging into this. We'll see what happens. 240s, that's what I'll watch for NVIDIA. Apple, strong name as well, guys. Apple has sort of been holding up here. Maybe around this 168, we'll see if it holds. Bottom, 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 and bottom. If it doesn't hold that 168, then you're probably going to at least come back down to around 165 and maybe down to around 156. I don't really want to see the 156, but you very well could see that if this market really pulls back right down to this 156. So watch that. Bought shares of NVIDIA at 38. Wow, that's sick. So Apple, pretty, relative outperformance here, has been sort of holding up all week around this 168. Watch 168 as support. If we fail through that, I would sort of look for that sort of slow decline down to 156 because there's not much here to hold it up. PayPal Mafia. Yeah, I mean, I'm never gonna count out a name, like PayPal. It definitely could come back. I think the problem for these payment processors is how they're gonna work with cryptocurrencies. I think that's a very big problem. Like, how does PayPal and Square and other names like that sort of combine with crypto? Because is one of them irrelevant because of crypto? I don't know. It's sort of a weird thing to think about. Microsoft has been sort of just slipping. It's sort of just not doing anything here. I would look for the 280s, guys, on Microsoft. Look for the 280s. That's where I think you're probably coming back down to, right around here. 280s, maybe you bounce off that, but I think that's probably where Microsoft moves lower to if this market continues to slip. So watch that, 280s. And let's go to Tesla. So Tesla is like the definition of doing nothing. I mean, this is crazy on Tesla. Very strange yesterday on Tesla. I don't know if you guys realize this, but sort of towards the end of the day, right around here, the market was really dropping, like around this time. And Tesla was really sort of just chopping around, similar to NVIDIA. If you look at NVIDIA end of day yesterday, guys, look at this sideways chop end of day on NVIDIA. So very strange to see that. Those NVIDIA and Tesla did not react to the downside on NASDAQ. I'm not saying not at all because you can clearly see that these stocks are down. But in the end of day, they were they were sort of lagging the downside move, which was strange to see. I don't know if we must have some major support down here. So 4-hour chart on Tesla, I mean, it's hard. This is a very strange chart, I have to say. Maybe this like 875 level, and then maybe this 840 level, and then 800. 875 is the previous lows here. You guys can see right here. Previous support, 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 and support. Right. So 875. That is an area. Next is around this 840. I would watch that, and then 800. To the upside, it's 845. Or sorry, 945. All right. XLP. So the XLP is consumer staples. You can see it's trying to move a little higher this morning. And here's the daily chart. This is something that is in a bullish situation right now, right? You can see XLP is on a very big uptrend. It's sort of pulling back slightly over the last few days, about a week and a half. But it's sort of holding up, and it's definitely had a very nice day yesterday. So here was the day yesterday on the XLP, guys, right here. This was XLP yesterday, despite the downside on the market. So you have a lot of these consumer staple names that actually did very well yesterday. XLP. So stocks like Coca-Cola. Look at Coca-Cola yesterday. Look at that move. Insane move for Coca-Cola. And look at the daily chart. Daily chart is right at all-time highs. So when people think market's crashing, I got this comment on YouTube yesterday. Why did you buy calls? The market's crashing. You're an idiot, basically. And you guys, this is not a crashing market. The XLP is actually a very strong market right now. Coca-Cola, almost at all-time highs. Procter & Gamble, a stock that I'm in, pushing higher, right? Costco yesterday had a very nice day and could be setting up for another push higher. Costco, right? Look at this move. Nice move on Costco yesterday. Pepsi. Look at this move on Pepsi yesterday. Big move on Pepsi. So a lot of these stocks that Pepsi I'm a little bit concerned of. This rejection looks sort of shitty here, right around 168. So watch out for that 168. But a lot of these names that people don't really look at, that I try myself to look at, because I'm guilty of it too. I don't look at them enough either. But you guys can see, right? Walmart, MO, Costco, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Procter and Gamble. Let's see what's Walgreens been doing. WBA, damn, Walgreens sort of crappy. What's MO up to? Yeah, look at MO yesterday. Altria. Grocery stores popping. That's right. It's all about the grocery stores, baby. Look at Altria yesterday. MO, big day. So take a look at these guys. Take a look at these. Take a look and see what these are doing. Make sure you realize what sectors are good, what sectors are not. There's definitely sectors that are still strong in this market. Money's got to flow somewhere, right? So just wanted to bring that up. Make sure you guys are aware of that. Wanted to show you a quick analysis between Square and PayPal right now. Just real quick. It's nothing that's too exciting, but something I found interesting. This is PayPal, right? Look at this chart. Oh my God. This is March. This is February. If you guys want to pull that up, go to the Analyze tab and then type in XLP, XLF, XLV, XLK, XLE. Yep. So this is February highs pre-COVID, pre-virus, and we are down 16%. Right? PayPal is 16% below pre-virus levels. Right? Crazy. I believe very crazy. That's pretty nasty. I don't know if it deserves to be down that low. Is it really down? Is it really worth 16% less than what it was pre-virus? I understand this was a little bit crazy to the upside, but this is getting a little bit crazy to the downside. Do we really hit virus lows, which is like peak panic on the market? That's got to be an opportunity, right? At some point, I don't know. I mean, it's tough. You got it. Logically, you would say if PayPal's at virus lows, don't you think that would be a little bit of an overreaction? Just logically thinking, that would be my first thought. But who knows? But yeah, I would watch PayPal here. It's definitely getting wrecked. There's got to be a spot where it starts to be a good value play. Square, however, when we look at the difference between Square and PayPal is 16% under virus lows. Millionaires we made in this market. I do agree, Matt. I do agree. There's not going to be very. I don't like to bring this up because a lot of people don't think long term and people get a little bit upset, guys. But there's not many times in someone's lifetime where you get big drops like this on some stocks. If you pick the right names in this environment, if you somehow, I don't want to say you get lucky, but if you do your research and you actually pick names that you think that will push higher over the next 10, 15 years, this could be a monstrous and once-in-a-lifetime opportunity on a lot of stocks, guys. And I'm not kidding about that, because we can look back, if we're still doing live streams when I'm 60 years old, we're going to look back at this and say, holy shit, Shopify or PayPal, Square has dropped 70% from its highs. All right? That, you guys remember when we were 25 years old, 30 years old, and Shopify was down 70%. You guys remember that? You're like, that's going to happen. You guys know it. It's going to happen. So it's just a matter of people that can have that long-term mentality and willing to buy, some of these names. I'm not doing it yet on some of the falling knife names, but I am definitely doing it on the stocks that I believe are strong. I mean, without a doubt, I buy every single week. I don't care what the market's doing. So there's definitely opportunity here. There's no doubt about it. It's the people that are willing to look long term that are going to look back at this, in 20, 30 years and say, holy crap, I just got a stock that was 70% off its highs. It's in the metaverse. Do I really believe companies will be around here in 20 years? Absolutely, there will be companies that survive 20 years. Why would there not be? There's some that won't. There's some that won't. There's some that will. But I'm trying to pick the names that are. I mean, you don't think Apple's around in 20 years? I mean, I'd be surprised. If you don't believe that, then you don't have to invest in the stock market, right? You know, guys, if you don't believe in investing in companies, then don't invest in the stock market. It's very easy as that. Like, I can't talk to, we can't throw these terms around to people that are just not understanding of investing. You know, if some people just do not believe in any of it, right? There's a lot of people like my aunt. My aunt's a good explanation. I have an aunt that, when I say, purchasing stock, she automatically shuts me down, right? Just nope, I don't believe in it, right? Those people that just can't have that, they don't believe in that, they don't have that conviction. You can't. It's really hard to make these points across. But if you find names that you like, and you believe they'll be around, I think there's opportunity. However, let's continue. Square is not back to pre-virus levels, right? You have like this 80, the pre-virus high was around 90. And you are still above, around, you're like 20% above, 20% above pre-virus high. So very strange underperformance on PayPal recently, guys. That is very interesting. So just keep an eye on that. Square and PayPal. Square is very strong outperformance right now. All right. I'm a trader, not an investor. Okay. You should do both. You don't have to be one or the other. Gold. Why not set your... Excuse me. Why not set yourself up for the long term? Why only focus on being a trader? It doesn't make any sense. So here's the weekly chart on GLD, guys. This is a very interesting chart. I have to say this is a very interesting chart. I don't know. This is looking sort of like a breakout to me. And someone actually pointed this out. To me. Let me go back to max available. No, I don't think Facebook will. Yeah, that's why I don't invest in Facebook, Andre. I'm not saying people always take it to the extremes, right? When I say pick stocks that you believe that are going to be around here in 20 years, I'm not saying you buy every stock on the stock market. You got to pick the ones that you actually think have a good business model. Facebook, I've said thousands of times on this stream, I don't invest in social media stocks for the long term. Social media stocks, there's too much. I'm not going to talk about this again. There's just too much going on with social media for anything to last 20 years, in my opinion. But anyways, gold. Look at this cup and handle. Very interesting on GLD. Someone in the chat brought this up to me. Cup, handle. I don't know. Gold's very interesting here, guys. So I would keep an eye on it. Why do so many people keep on saying, look at Facebook? What is Facebook doing, guys? I mean, everyone in the chat, look at Facebook. Look at Facebook. Yeah, Facebook's not good. It's terrible. So I don't buy it. I don't like Facebook. I don't buy the stock. So I can see why it's definitely taking a hit. Yeah. It's not, Facebook doesn't look like this. This is what Apple looks like, right? It's about buying companies that are performing. Anyways, what were we looking at? Gold, yeah, gold cup and handle. This looks crazy, guys. So I definitely keep an eye on gold. I had a lot of people ask me about gold on my video yesterday. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. Very interesting. All right, Roku. Kathy Wood continues to buy it, I guess. But I'm definitely not I'm definitely not interested right here. I think you probably push down to around this 100 level right here. I think that's where you're going on. I think that's where you're going on Roku. So you guys can see this is Roku over the last, wow, that's a long time. I mean, what is that, 6 months? It's almost 6 months of straight downside. And you are down at 100. So watch 100 today, guys. I think that's probably where you're moving down to. If we zoom out a little bit more, let me go to the weekly chart. After 100, there really isn't much. 73 previous lows here. But yeah, I would look at 100 today on Roku, guys. I think that's probably where you're heading. All right, last but not least, Twilio. There is a big gap fill on Twilio that I think can be filled. So if I go out, get some more time here. Here it is. Look at this gap on Twilio that I think can be filled. Right around here. If you break under 153, I think you're coming back down to 122 very quickly here. 153 to 122, major gap from their previous earnings right here. Look at this. See this gap? If you come back down and you break below this level, you can very well get into this gap to 122. Watch that. Baba news? No, glitch. All right. That's what I got for you guys. If you guys could take 1 second and press the like button, please, that would be fantastic. We will go over some of the stocks that you guys want to look at, and then we're getting out of here. Holy crap, you guys got a lot in here today. All right, we went over Roku. We went over Microsoft. We went over... All right, let's go. We got to go quick here. Pay attention. Qualcomm, not good. Don't like this rejection whatsoever. Not interested anymore. That can't reject there. I would look for downside if anything. That can't reject. 173, bad rejection. This is probably coming back lower. That can't reject there. Previous support into resistance, no good. Head and shoulders, I don't see that for upside. Roblox may have stalled to the downside. I don't know. This is getting really heavy down here. I think you're starting to find a bottom, to be honest. It seems like it's like pulling teeth to go any lower. You're just going to have to wait for a slip under this, like really fast slip under 53. But you're at all-time lows. Part of me wants to say it's going to be tough to just continue to see this thing die. But also part of me sees the reason why it could go lower. So, yeah, I mean, just watch for the break below this 53. That's all. Just watch for the 53 break, guys. Very easy. If it breaks below 53, you could very well see an acceleration to the downside. It needs to break above 56 for upside. AMD. Daily chart, AMD sort of looks very similar to NVIDIA, right? But sort of breaking down of this little trend. I think you might, if the market does continue to slip, I think you're going to be retesting 100 here. That's my honest opinion. I think you retest 100 here and see if it holds off that 100 again. That's where I think you come down to. $100. If the market does pull back. UAL, rejection at the top of the channel, absolutely. I totally see it. Is Boeing doing the same shit like it does every other time? Yeah, look at this. Boeing's doing the same thing again. Boeing is doing the exact same thing again. I could definitely see this coming back down. I might actually play this. I might actually be willing to play this. I need a little bit more confirmation there. I don't want to get in too early. Maybe a drop below this pivot low. 208. Maybe a drop below this 208. A little something like this. That's probably what I'll watch for. 208 on Boeing. But yeah, UAL, same exact thing. Same exact thing. Same exact thing. WDC. Western Digital. I wouldn't trade this stock. I'm just gonna give you the honest truth. I'm sorry if you get offended. Don't look at this stock anymore. WDC, Western Digital, I just don't see why. There's so much better stuff to be trading out there. I don't see why. Look at this stock. Western Digital. I look past it. That's my honest opinion. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but that's just my honest opinion there. Facebook. I mean, don't you think it comes down to 200? Psychological level. A lot of sweeps. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to that stuff. So sorry. I don't mean to be rude or anything, but yeah, if you see something that I'm not seeing, then go for it. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just taking it as, a stock that I just wouldn't watch on a daily basis. But if you see something you like, go for it, man. If it pays off, great. I'm not hating on you, but just not something I can really help with because I just don't know anything about it. Facebook weekly chart. This is tough, man. I mean, there's not really anything that's too solid here. Maybe 200. I mean, 200 I think is probably where you try to come down to. That would be my first look, but it's really not that solid of an area. So you have pivot highs at, 205, 198. You have these lows around 177. You got these lows at 148. So yeah, just look out for some of these levels. I would say 200. AbbVie just keeps going higher. I got really nothing to say about it. What is there to say? I would wait for a 20 SMA pullback to buy it. Wait for that, buy it off the 20 SMA like it does every other time. That's what I would look for. Wait to see what it does at the 20, see if it pulls back, see if it holds. Home Depot, bad rejection. Very bad rejection here on Home Depot. You guys can see, look, previous resistance again. That's coming back down to 340 in my opinion. Watch 340 as support. Right there. CRM, cracked 200. Yeah, it sure did. Look at that. Okay. That might be some nice downside. Wow. Yeah, that's a big crack for CRM. That is a big downside crack for CRM. Let's see. What are these lows here? Right around 204. What's the high of this candle? 195, 194. I'd probably look for the 194s right there. That's a big break though. Watch 200. Watch CRM under 200. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you guys for being here. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to join the Discord chat, come hang out with us. Trade live every day. Link down below. If you want to check out some Options Insider merchandise, there is actually a coupon code right now that I figured I would share with you guys on the make sure I pull it up correctly. I don't know if it's going to pull up. But the code is earnings. It's Q1 earnings, so you get a coupon code earnings. So EARNINGS earnings. You get 25% off any of the merch. So if you want to check it out, feel free. Here's the link. And thank you guys for being here. Subscribe to the channel, press the like button, and have a good day. I'm not going to be here Monday. Don't ask me. So no stream Monday. No stream Monday. Incomplete pass. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys on Tuesday on another stream. Peace out.